grapple with, right? Now, in the Buddhist view, it's very simple. Actually, it's really wanting other people to be genuinely happy. And when we say happy, often that word in English, right, it has a very kind of connotation of what is happy. We feel like it's kind of doing nice things and feeling good, and it is connected to that. But obviously, happiness in the Buddhist context is not actually just some sort of worldly kind of pleasures or feeling good. Having a massage is good, but it's not really what is going to make us happy. So, in a long-term way, as we all know, we have a massage and we feel good about it, but it wears off, right? And it's the same with our relationships, everything that we do for those sorts of happy sort of feelings. We all know they don't last. So what is love in the Buddhist context? It's really saying that it's really wanting other people to be happy, really wishing them that kind of love, but understanding that what we normally maybe think of as happiness is not what maybe most people are associating with happiness, right? So if I'm trying to be a Buddhist practitioner and develop love, what I'm trying to do is think, I really wish that person or those people or those beings will attain really sort of long-lasting happiness, which, from the Buddhist context is liberation from samsara, is liberation from suffering. And so this is where sort of love from a Buddhist perspective or from a practitioner even might seem like it's not even love sometimes, right? So from a worldly perspective, people might see someone doing or saying things which to them look like it's a kind of almost, let's say, aversion or even anger. But it can be actually love if it's undertaken because, for example, going back to the mother example again, sometimes, immature beings or children just don't listen, right? And they're putting themselves in all sorts of very dangerous and risky situations. And so at that time, there comes a point where out of love, the sort of method has to be a bit more wrathful or a bit harsher, let's say. And to external eyes, they might look at that and think, well, that doesn't look very loving. And this is where I think it gets interesting because our worldly notion of love is sometimes a very sort of self-centered one, right? So we look at love as what I can get from a person. How do they make me feel? Do they make me feel happy or not? And we all have this. I mean, I'm not saying I don't, and this is why we suffer in relationships, because when all of a sudden that person that we thought we loved, right, but actually what we wanted was them making us continue to feel good from their side, when that changes, all of a sudden we don't feel like we love them anymore, right? So that is the difficulty, is that it's from the Buddhist view, that is why our romantic relationships don't really last. But even while our relationships with our family or with, children or whatever also face a lot of difficulties, it's because fundamentally, and again, this is maybe not, people don't really want to hear this maybe, is we don't actually love, people as much as we think we do. So, and that can be painful to acknowledge in some ways, because we often think, especially with our family or our friends, that we really do love those people. And in some ways we do want them to be happy, and we do rejoice when good things happen to them. But those things can be very fragile, right? I mean, we've all had experiences of people we thought we had this love for, romantic relationships being the prime example, but, all of a sudden something happened, or a friend said something or did something which we just felt so offended by, and all of a sudden our love for them has completely gone. But actually what that situation showed us was that we didn't actually really love them. So